it was hilarious when he got that pick. It was almost as if for a split second he was like, "Oh shit! What do I do now?"
He's like, "Oh, you just gave me the ball. You gave me the ball."
But he got running, and all of a sudden he was fast.
45, 40, 35, 40. He's gonna go. It's time, people. Feel it.
Big Red Junkies.
Day by day, he gets better and better. He gets better and better. Team is KPB. If we die, we die.
Man is putting a child in that. Put him in the aisle.
Bring that trophy back to Lincoln.
Well, it wasn't pretty, but there's win number 4.
Yeah, wasn't necessarily pretty, but you know what? After you get done with the game, you get done with how disappointing first half seemed like it was going, and it felt like a lot very similar to what was happening in the Illinois game. You look at the stats at the end of the game, we fucking dominated them.
Oh, yeah.
We dominated them across the board. Everybody wants to bitch about the refs. Let's just go ahead and say this right now. The refs were fucking awful.
The refs are bad. The refs, like we were talking before we started the show, the refs had more yards than Purdue did.
Yeah.
There were 259 yards of penalties
That's insane.
in this game.
And that's not even counting the penalties that either got declined or got waived off because there were multiple penalties on the play.
Yeah. Like
They're flag happy.
I think
period.
I think they just threw another flag again just now.
They were flag happy, period, and it wasn't just on us.
No,
we had less penalties than Purdue.
Yeah.
Barely. I think Purdue had 6 or 7 pass interference calls, 2 on one play. They're watching the game last night between Georgia and Alabama. That was one of the most electric and exciting football games, not college, not just NFL, football games in general that I recall seeing. In a long-ass fucking time.
It was a phenomenal game.
It was amazing, and yet I'm watching it, and there were so many plays, especially in the second half as Georgia's making their huge comeback, that I'm like, wow, if this was a Big Ten officiated crew, this game would be no fun at all because it's penalty,
There'd be a flag on every play.
dead ball, whatever. They fuck up the game.
Yeah.
There was no flow to that game yesterday whatsoever. It seemed as dreary and down as what the weather was. It was frustrating.
Yeah.
That being said, the refs weren't killing us. They weren't killing us.
They
had
were
some
equal opportunity refs yesterday.
They took 2 touchdowns off the board, one from Purdue and one from us.
Yep.
One was on a phantom offensive pass interference call for Purdue. Originally they thought he was beyond the line, and then when they realized he wasn't beyond the line, there was actually offensive pass interference on the play too. So just, the touchdown can't stand.
Yeah, they were like, either way, there's a flag, but we're going to figure out which flag it is.
Yeah,
That
but then there was the
fucking thing.
Then there was the, everybody's calling it the anticipated offensive pass interference call of Fedoni, where he
Literally didn't touch the kid.
The most perfectly executed non-pass interference that you can put on a defender.
That's legit how you want to do it.
They even talked about it on the broadcast.
Yeah.
If you're a wide receiver, if you're a wide receiver's coach,
that's how you coach them to do it.
That is the textbook most perfect way to execute that play. And Rhule mentioned it in the press conference afterwards. He said, we went out there. They knew they executed that play correctly. They knew it was a touchdown. Just didn't go on the board for us.
Yep.
I thought it was very telling. I don't think we're ever going to get much more from Rhule than we did last night after the game with the whole somebody has to stand up for Nebraska, and he walked through why he got a personal foul called on him.
Yeah,
because he threw his headset, and even though he thought he was in the right area where it was okay to throw his headset, which I didn't know that was a thing.
I didn't either. I didn't realize
you can throw your headset over here, but not over here. Don't you do it?
You just can't be on the white, I guess, when you throw your headset. Either way,
it was funny.
I didn't have a problem with him being heated though, because he was in the right.
Absolutely,
the team was in the right. The refs were wrong on that call.
Yeah. The refs, both sides should have been mad yesterday about that game.
Absolutely.
They controlled the absolute shit out of that game. They killed it. They drug it down.
They had more yards than Purdue did.
Yeah. Which, speaking of, our defense looked like they were back on track for the most part.
Yeah.
There was moments where it felt like that same leaky shit was going on with the run defense, but then you look at it at the end of the game and they rushed for 1.7 yard average on 30 attempts for 52 total yards.
Yeah.
It was good. It was really good. We got after the quarterback a little bit more than we had been, and it was very effective.
We brought pressure more than we did against Illinois, and it looked fantastic.
MJ Sherman had himself a day.
Oh, yeah.
Got himself in trouble once or twice, but he had himself a day.
I'm okay with that, too. As long as he's out there playing. That's good.
Playing fiery. That same look he gave Mitch Sherman when he asked him about his... I felt like he played the entire game with that.
Yeah. Like, why the fuck are you doing this?
What did you think of Dylan Raiola?
I thought he looked good again. He manages the game so well. And he's very quick with his decision-making. When they were down, I forget, it was in the second half, but they were down and he immediately didn't see that his options were open, and so he just threw the ball at their feet.
Oh,
Stuff
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. I think that's fantastic.
On the goal line.
Yeah.
Yep. He had two dudes. He had Fedoni right in front of him who was completely covered, and I think Lindenmeyer was the other guy that was out there. They were both draped. There was no play to be made.
And split second, he just threw the ball.
Chucked it at the ground. It was perfect play.
Stuff like that makes me happy.
Yeah.
He thinks very quickly and very intelligently.
Just don't make the mistake.
Yep.
It wasn't 4th and goal. You had options. There's no reason to turn the ball over. Through the first half, I thought it was really interesting going into halftime. Him watching him walk off the field. He had a droopy look to him. He was like, "Man, this sucks. This is not good." And I had that like moment of panic, like, "Oh, where's he thinking about where he wants to transfer to or whatever?" Like, but I think that's just as a fan base right now, we're so set up and ready for this. Like, there's going to be a massive letdown. It's going to be a massive letdown. Something bad's going to happen.
Rhule also kind of touched on it as he was doing his little presser as he walked off the field after the game.
And see, I didn't catch that part.
He said that this game was actually exactly what we needed. We needed it to be close so that we could finish in the fourth quarter. And we fucking did. We scored 21 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. That was by far our best fourth quarter so far. It felt like it took almost the whole first half for the offense to get going. But a lot of that was penalties.
We had 200 yards in the first half.
And that's what I mean, though. Every time we got rolling, a penalty or two would set us way back.
Or heaven forbid, we had to try and kick a fucking field goal.
Yeah.
We have a real problem there.
Real problem. Real problem.
And not just with the kicking, but with the snapping, too. Like,
Did I
they were
see
both bad
Buscemi
snaps.
come out for an extra point? Or was I off on that?
I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I don't know. The 0 for 3 on field goals, that's rough. And I realized he mentioned that it was the long snapper on the last two. It was a bad snap and a bad hold. Said both balls were on the ground. I get all that. That's fine. But at the same time, those things have to get cleaned up.
Yeah.
Period. They have to get cleaned up. Let's move on.
If you can't rely on getting points while you're inside the 30, that's a problem.
There's also there's no reason to continue torching Ed Foley about this because we have specialists that are there to help them out.
Yeah.
I think it's great that we went out and got Maher. Apparently we've had him the whole time. If he's not the answer, he's not the answer. Let's move on, whatever it might be. There's something that has to be done here, and I really hope Tristan Alvano's on the mend because you got to kind of feel for John Hull. He's a walk-on dude, wasn't expected to even be playing football this year. Now he's thrust into it, and he's just getting lit up.
Yeah.
And he's not getting help from his support guys.
That's my thing, is it's not all his fault. Those were very bad snaps.
Yeah.
And there weren't good holds either. Like, it's just all around, we need to do better on that side of the ball.
Who was your most electric player for the game?
John Bullock.
John Boy.
That dude's always fucking
Johnny
fired
Boy.
up.
I was thinking about the offensive side of the ball, but he played an awesome game, and it was hilarious when he got that pick. It was almost as if for a split second he was like, "Oh shit! What do I do now?"
He's like, "Oh, you just gave me the ball. You gave me the fucking
Dude,
ball."
but he got running, and all of a sudden he was fast.
Yeah.
I was like, "You're a thick boy." He got moving like that, and he was kind of looking over his shoulder like, I ain't slowing up. Nobody's coming.
Yeah.
Nobody. I felt like that moment Purdue was like, okay, fuck this. This is just not our day.
Yep.
I'm done.
It was kind of a nail in the coffin. But on the offensive side specifically, I'd probably say Ja'Cory Barney.
Yeah, I was gonna say either Barney or Emmett Johnson.
Yeah.
Emmett Johnson, I think he wound up with 2 catches for 35 yards, and he was our leading rusher behind Ja'Cory Barney catching those sweeps.
Yep.
He ran 8 carries for 50 yards, 6.3 average. Dante Dowdell still is running exactly like, I kind of got torched by both of you guys, but also some people online for saying he was running dumb. Okay, don't call it dumb. The guy just doesn't have any vision.
Yeah.
Is he the strongest, most powerful runner that we have? Absolutely.
There were two different times in the game yesterday
Irving.
where my back hurt because he went and ran into the back of an offensive lineman. Like it
What
made
are you
my back
doing,
hurt.
dude?
You could hear it. It was audible.
Why
That's how
are
bad.
you hitting your own guy like that?
Yeah.
Just open your eyes. Let's do something. But I think the
I
finding
get
the
it.
crease thing.
He hits the hole real hard.
Yeah.
But there's not always a hole there.
Yeah, I was going to say he's trying to make a hole. And that's fine if you're on the goal line. That's not going to work out in the middle of the field, especially on first down.
Speaking of being on the goal line and running, I don't understand why we keep trying to go over the top like that. It has not worked out very often.
You're talking about those fades?
No, I'm talking specifically when we're running and they try and jump over the pile.
That one was
You lose all your power.
Well, and they brought in what's his name, Carter Nelson, as your like ultimate freak athlete who's 6'6" and can jump over a tall building. Like they brought in the dude to do it. It just they had everything lined up for it. It almost seemed like they knew exactly what was going to happen. Like, hey, if he comes in the backfield, we know they're probably trying to go over the top because this dude's able to Superman it. At that moment, Dylan Raiola is so good with those little fakes.
Yeah.
Hand it to him. Let Carter Nelson go leaping up. Dylan could have trotted around the end. Like he would have walked in with nobody touching him at all.
It turned out not to matter, but it kind of irked me that we continue to see that happening.
Did it bother you that Rhule, even though it was super, super evident that he didn't get in, did it bother you that he burned his challenge on that?
I didn't like it, but I didn't really care because it didn't matter.
Yeah, I feel like it was a tight game. It would have been something else.
That's kind of what I'm saying. If he had needed a challenge then later in the game, it would have made me more angry.
Yeah.
Because it didn't matter. No, we all knew it wasn't it.
Yeah. Tight game, it would have bothered me. It almost to me felt like one of those like, okay, just like everybody calm down. Everybody calm down. I'm going to give us a little bit of time
I
here.
definitely don't mind taking the time out there, but we didn't need to challenge it.
Yeah. And it seems silly. Granted, the broadcast couldn't get a camera on the goal line to save their lives yesterday. So I don't know what the fuck they were doing. We had no straight down the goal line shot the whole game.
It's only, the place where the scoring happens. I don't know why you would think you need cameras there.
Yeah. Yeah. The one where it was closest to a down the line shot, there was a guy in the way and the cameraman seemed to be running because the camera was doing this.
I didn't see that, but that's funny.
It was bad. It was bad. But yeah, the Emmett Johnson to me looked like, as much as Dante Dowdell looked like the standout in the Colorado game, Emmett Johnson looked like the standout in this game, hands down.
And it seems like the coaching staff kind of was with you on that because once he got a couple of good carries in, he was in the game more.
Yeah. It was definitely more of a second half thing. And he was still one carry behind Dowdell, but I mean, Dowdell being at 9 carries down from I think it was 18 or 19 the week before, that's a pretty big cut to your productive opportunities. Jamal Banks is still Jamal Banks. The dude can't, like, his legs turn to jello when he catches the ball, but he's steady Eddie.
Yeah.
He got targeted, I think, 6 times. He caught 5 balls at 82 yards. I thought Fedoni looked good again. I know Jed sent us the blocking scores. I know that his run blocking was atrocious, apparently, in this game. Maybe that's where the Dowdell problem is. I don't know. But you got to be able to make your own plays a little bit. Zaire Wright looked again like a guy who we can trust out there, even though would he come out of the game 3 times or just two times with that little knee, whatever was going on with his knee?
I think it was just twice, and I never actually heard what is going on with his knee.
Well,
because he was
grabbing at it pretty
game.
bad. Yeah, and there were 2 plays. There were 2 plays back to back after he first started hobbling in the first quarter, where I was like, "Get him out of the game."
Yeah,
clearly hurt.
Yeah.
Like he gave up a wide open play. He just got beat on a guy that stopped and turned around, and it was like
Purdue knew that he was hurt too because they started targeting him.
Yeah, but he still wound up playing a great game, I thought.
Yeah. I was a little surprised that we didn't see more from Nayor.
Yeah,
he caught 1 pass.
He was pretty well covered the entire game.
Is that what it was? They planned for him?
It seemed like he was pretty well covered the entire game. There were several passes kind of across the middle that were a little bit shorter, where it was just a good defensive play.
Yeah.
They weren't early on him. A couple of the pass interference calls that it seemed like in that third quarter, it was like pass interference after pass interference after pass interference. Several of those were on like guys on him. So I don't know.
That's true. He cut one pass, but he probably had 60 or 70 yards just in PI called on him.
Yeah. But I think you're probably spot on with the Ja'Cory Barney because the dude is he's an electric freak.
Yeah.
He quote unquote caught 2 balls for 28 yards, but then he ran it 4 times for 66 yards. And when he's on the field, if there's not a flag thrown, there was still one on the canceled out one of his good plays.
Yep.
But I feel like he's a net positive 8+ yards every time he touches the ball.
Oh yeah. Especially on those little sweeps that they like to do with him.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. His average per catch was 14 and his average per run was 16.5.
As Jesus.
That's you talk about electric movement.
As bad as Dowdell is at reading the field, Ja'Cory Barney is that good.
He
at
looks like
reading the
water
field.
running
Yep.
through like a rock.
Yep. He's always got a lane that he's finding.
It's wild.
He looks great.
Good job getting to the quarterback yesterday. I felt like the game plan made a little bit more sense, and it did really. They said it this week in the press conferences. We're going to try and get the defense back to more of what they were doing last year. It looked like that.
Yeah,
coverages were better, but we had more pressure.
We still were missing some tackles I didn't like.
Yep,
but that's going to be a week to week thing. I agree with you. They looked better on a pressure standpoint.
A couple of the tackles that were in the first half, especially that I noticed that were missed, Javin Wright. And those I'm okay with excusing because it was his first game play of the year. He's back. He was a little overexcited, it looked like, because a couple of them.
I think I would be too.
The ones that I was seeing, he just over pursued a little bit. And so he's then, sidearm trying to grab a guy and it wasn't going to work.
Yeah.
They still have good backs, but damn, we held them down a lot better than it looked like in the first half at least. Anything else you wanted to throw out here on this game? Because I felt pretty good about it, honestly.
Not really. Like you said, I feel like I could have overreacted to the first half a bit, but that was just the refs. I think we played a solid game through and through, and the way we finished in the fourth quarter was the thing that I liked the most yesterday.
Yeah. That 21 points in the fourth quarter was damn impressive.
Yeah.
I really didn't like that the defense kind of let them march down. I know we had a bunch of backups in by that point, but it's like, come on, guys. Could have held the touchdown out of there.
Yeah.
28-3 feels a lot better than 28-10.
Yeah. They passed the eye test. That's what I was worried about.
I agree with you there. We'll have another show out on Wednesday night previewing Rutgers next week, and then it's bye week. We've got something special coming up for that. Thanks for checking in, guys.
And this may be the most unbelievable night in Cornhusker football history.